and afternoon to some, and maybe even later or tomorrow to others. I wanted to get on a little bit to talk about my website. So if you're new here or been here a while, I don't talk about it a whole lot. I've had a website for a while, but it's just kind of been like meh. And I'm really trying to get my website going. And I finally have. So if you haven't checked out my website, please go check it out, look at it. If there's a contact me spot on my website that if you just go put in, it asks for your phone number, but I don't want your phone number. Just put in your email address and your name, and you're going to get a free digital copy of my book. And I'm also starting newsletters. So this is what the newsletters look like. And so this week we are talking about 5 things I wish I knew. So that is something that you will get from me when you go to that contact me page on my website. And you put in your email address or whatever. Once a month, maybe I'll do one. I am not a newsletter person. And right now, the website, something is glitching. So like everybody that's already done that, you might get the newsletter like 5 times. I don't know what's going on. So just bear with us. It's the first newsletter. Cause again, I'm not necessarily a newsletter person, but I mean, they're really cute. And I'm putting a lot of work into it. You can find out my coaching information on my website, information on the fiber the drink that I drink. My podcast. My podcasts are all linked there. So there's lots of stuff on the website. And again, when you go to the contact me and you put in just your email address and your name, you're going to get that newsletter that's probably once a month. So you're not going to get a lot of emails from me. And then, you get the free copy of my book. But I also wanted to just open this up a little bit to anybody like questions. Like what kind of questions do we have with fasting? Like what more could I talk about or put out there? I kind of feel like a broken record that I'm just constantly saying the same thing over and over again, but I feel like that's sometimes what we need to hear. So if anybody has like any kind of questions, please put it on here. Like ask anything. Like what's your biggest hang up with fasting? What is your biggest struggle? What is it come down to the food? Cause there's so many different steps to fasting. So, that's what I think the biggest thing that everybody needs to understand is there's lots of different steps. Like step 1 is like, we're really just trying to get our insulin levels low. And we don't know how insulin resistant we are unless you go get a fasted insulin test, which you can do. And you have to specifically ask for that fasted insulin. They will try to tell you your A1C is the same. It's not. So if you want to know if you're insulin resistant, then go get your fasted insulin tested. You want to talk about plateaus. What about plateaus? Can you be more specific? Again, if you're just hopping on, ask any questions right now. I'm kind of just doing a Q&A right now. So any kind of questions you guys have with fasting or anything. But as far as plateaus go, it just depends on what your goal is right now. So, and how long you've been fasting for. So what are you considering a plateau? Because sometimes it matters if we're sticking and being too rigid with a fasting protocol and stuff like that. Because again, we don't want to do that. We don't want to stick to fasting protocols. We don't want to stick to a 24 or a 22-2. That is treating intermittent fasting like a diet because you're being rigid and you're making yourself get to these hours, even on the days when you're feeling like, oh my gosh, I'm so hungry or whatever. Like you need to listen to those days. Like there's some really horrible advice out there that you should stop fasting during your period. And, it just doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me, for one, to even use the words don't fast, because if you slept, you fasted. So we're all intermittent fasters in the entire world, but most people just sleep for 6 to 8 hours and then they eat for the other 18 to 16 hours. So we really just need to learn how to flip-flop that. Okay, so if you are in a plateau, so a question here, if you are in a plateau, again, what is your fasting protocol? Are you being rigid with it? Are you being flexible? Because you have to understand that if you want to lose weight, so again, we fast for our health. We will fast for our health forever. Okay. We will always fast. Even if you're fasting for 12 hours, you're fasting, you slept, you fasted, you're going to wake up and you're going to keep your insulin levels low for as long as you possibly can. Okay. And if your goal is weight loss though, that switches everything up. That makes everything different. If you're in maintenance, that's different. If you're in weight loss mode, that's different. If you've plateaued, well, let's figure it out. But so if you're wanting weight loss, you really, really, really have to be past 18 plus hours fasted every single day. And when I say 18 plus, I mean that really needs to change and be closer to the 20 plus hour mark. So do like 18, 18.5, 20, 19, 22, 18, 18, 19. Like let it change and move. Let it change and move all the time, because that's what you want. So if you're wanting weight loss, so if you've plateaued, and you've been doing an 18-6 and you've been kind of sticking to that, well, that's the problem. You're eating too long and you're not fasting long enough. So switch it up. So if you've plateaued, something's going on, or start looking at what you've been eating. If you have been fasting 20 plus hours fasted, and you have been eating a 1 to 3 hour eating window and you still plateaued, then you need to look at what you're eating. You're eating too much sugar. You're having too much alcohol. You're having too much processed foods, something like that. You could also not be eating enough. Like that's another big thing. And that's why I do my one-on-one coaching, because people don't really truly understand, I feel like, what fasting is. Like we still have to eat for our goal. We still have to meal prep food and have good stuff ready for us all the time. The only difference between what I'm doing right now and what I was doing when I was working my ass off in a gym and eating and counting calories and counting protein and macros and all that business and math, the only thing I'm doing different now is now I'm mindful. So when I wake up in the morning, I don't try to eat something just because I think I should, because society has told me for the last 41 years that breakfast is the most important part of the day and blah, 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 blah. No, I don't need to spike my insulin first thing in the morning. And most of us have insulin driven hunger, and that's because you're insulin resistant. And to find out if you're insulin resistant, you go get that fasted insulin test. But yeah, if you're plateaued, you have to switch it up. You have to start cutting things out. Like this isn't a free for all. You don't just starve yourself all day long so you can just eat whatever you want. That is not this. Okay. So if you have that mentality and you have that attitude, then this is not going to work for you. Like you have to understand that the fasting part is just for our health. Okay. We all got to do that. I don't give a shit who you are or if you have weight to lose or not. Everybody should be fasting. And people that do watch what they eat and stuff like that, they are fasters. They just don't know it because they slept, and then they probably wake up and they drink their water for a little while, and then they eat their super amazing, awesome, nutritious meal that they make, and they might eat for 8 to 10 hours. But if they're watching what they're eating and they're hydrating themselves with water and they're not having lattes and energy drinks and all this crap that's constantly spiking their insulin all day long, then yeah, you can maintain that. But if you're looking like for seriously something that you can absolutely maintain, fasting is something that you can maintain and it's sustainable. I can take it with me wherever I go. If I'm in town, out of town, I don't ever stop fasting, because if I slept, I fasted. So get that out of your head. Like it's literally just like I'm mindful now. I know that I want to keep my insulin levels low so I can tap into my stored fat, because if I have too much circulating insulin, I can't tap into my stored fat. Like that is the bottom freaking line. And if you're spiking your insulin all day long, so in my head, when I was counting macros and calories and stuff, I'd be like, oh, well, I'm having my coffee with some creamer in it. That's like 30 calories, big whoop. Well, now I know it is a big whoop. And I do know that that's worse than anything. Like you cannot put cream and sugar and stuff in your coffee. Stop counting your calories. Stop thinking, oh, I can have this, oh, I can have that. Like, and even like with your protein and everything, like, yes, protein is the most important thing. We need to have good, good no protein meals. Like that's just the main thing, but we don't have to be over there with a calculator counting things up, and you don't have to be forcing food if you're not hungry. Don't be forcing food if you're not hungry. So you don't ever go, oh, I got to hurry up and eat something because my window's going to close and I might get hungry tomorrow. No. The goal is to eat the fat that we have on our body, not worry about what we're going to feel like tomorrow. Do I have any tricks for, so again, if you're hopping on, ask me some questions and I will try to answer them. And I know I go off on tangents, but that's just me. So welcome to the show. Tricks for fighting hunger during the fast. Y'all, this is it's hard. Like there's just no if, ands, or buts about it. Fasting is hard. Fasting is not easy. It's not like, oh, it's just like going to be so, like I'm freaking hungry when I wake up. Like right now it's 10. I'm actually not hungry right now. But like when you have insulin driven hunger though, you feel like you're hungry all the time. And so most of us, again, have insulin driven hunger. So depending on how long you've been fasting, you may not have that shield of insulin down yet. And you're not even remotely getting into your stored glycogen, because if you have insulin, it's blocking you, not allowing you to tap into your stored fat, meaning it's not going to allow you to tap into the stored glycogen that you have already stored in your liver and in your muscles. So that's why when we're on a low calorie diet and we're working our butts off in the gym and we're not losing weight, that's why, because you're eating 300 calories here, 300 calories there, 300 calories here, eating this before you go work out. Well, you just spiked your insulin all day long. So when you go to work out, congratulations, you're trying to burn off all the shit that you just ate all day long. And your insulin's crazy. So you're not even tapping into nothing. So that's why you freaking just sit there and don't lose weight and feel like a failure. Like that's not what we want anymore. Like that, I was tired of feeling that way. I was tired of feeling like I was a failure. I was tired of feeling like, what the hell is wrong with me? Why can't I lose weight? Like I go to the gym, I try to walk, I try to do this, and all of a sudden nothing's working. Like I don't understand. I've been able to lose weight my entire life, and then all of a sudden I just couldn't. But this is still the easiest thing that I've ever done in my entire life to sustain and maintain my weight. Like unbelievable. But drinking water is just your number one thing. Like you just drink plain water. So fighting the hunger, that should come down after a while of fasting. That will, like I don't get those major hunger pains. When I'm cooking lunch for my kids, my mouth is freaking salivating. I wish I could have it, but I can't. Like I know that if I eat like that, I'm going to get to be 210 pounds again. No, thank you, sir. Like I don't want that. Like I'm in maintenance though. So what I do is a lot different now or whatever. So I am more flexible, but like, so it is hard and you will get hungry, but I will always tell myself especially when I was losing weight, I would tell myself, good, I'm glad you're hungry. And I would imagine Pac-Man in my body going and eating away, autophagy working, right? Because when you're past 18 hours fasted, that's when autophagy is going to get ramped up. So imagine, like, I love analogies. So imagine a bunch of like worker bees that are in your body that are cleaning up all these bad cells and cleaning all this crap in your body, okay? You're getting autophagy while you're clean fasting. But if you get past 18 hours, that's like the worker bees are like, oh, damn, she's working overtime today, guys. Calls in extra help, okay? So that's autophagy getting ramped up, okay? So first, we're doing all good. We're autophagy, we're burning fat, fine. But then when you get past 18 hours, it gets ramped up. So extra worker bees come in to help clean up all the crap that's in your body and shove it all out. So the farther you are past 18 hours fasted every single day, the more autophagy you're going to get and the more fat you're going to get eaten away and burning. So when I am hungry, I just tell myself, good. Like you do have to decipher between real true hunger and insulin driven hunger. So again, totally depends where you are at in your fasting protocol. That's why like there is no one fasting thing that is the exact same for every single person. That's another reason why I do my one-on-one coaching and daily accountability, because it helps so much to understand like, oh, I can do that. Oh, it's okay that I do this. Like, yes, it's okay. Like this is so flexible, but we do have to pay attention to what we eat. We do have to watch what we eat. If anybody has any more questions, well, I mean, you can drink coffee. Coffee's fine. So black coffee is fine. I just tend to just stick to the water, but black coffee is fine and black tea is fine. Black green tea is fine. So black tea is like Lipton tea, like regular sun tea or whatever. So if you put that out in the sun and you don't put nothing in it and you drink it, you're totally fine. But for some reason, black tea makes me nauseous on an empty stomach. So I cannot drink black tea. I never tried green tea. And I used to drink black coffee here and there, like when I wanted it. Cold brew, making my own cold brew, game changer. Like that's way better because it's less bitter, so good. So if you can get a craft, I just got one from Pampered Chef, make my own cold brew, so good. Drink it black, that's really good. You can blend black coffee up with ice and it like turns frothy, and that's really good. Like there's different things like that you can do that are still considered clean fast. And again, it's the clean fast thing is because we don't want to spike our insulin. And when you drink an energy drink, even if it has no calories and says it has no sugar, your body still senses that you are tasting something sweet. It's called a cephalic phase insulin response or something like that, where your body, CIPR or something like that. And that's what happens when we are even tasting something that other than that has like that bitter palate or whatever. So, but ultimately water is just the best. So I just get my Hydro Flask, and it's like a decision you make in your head where you're just like, I drink water until I decide to eat. Like, that's just what I do. Like, there is no, oh, this sounds good, or I'll go get a refresher at Starbucks. Like, no, I won't. Like, it doesn't matter that it only has 130 calories in it. It has 40 grams of sugar or whatever. It's going to spike your insulin. No. Like, so I just stick with with water. You can put a little bit of pink salt in your coffee or water. Yes, that is totally fine. Still clean, fast approved. Mineral water is fine. So like Topo Chico, if you want something, and if you're a soda drinker, and you're trying to get off soda, Topo Chico is like the best thing to help get you off. It helps all of my clients. So, but it's basically, so it's Topo, T-O-P-O, Chico, C-H-I-C-O, and it is basically just carbonated mineral water. Has nothing in it. You can't get the Topo Chico with lime. It just has to be Topo Chico for your clean fast. But you can drink that, pour that over some ice, pretend you're drinking Sprite. I don't know. Any more questions? If you're just hopping on, we're doing a little Q&A stuff. So if anybody has questions of anything that has to do with fasting or anything, so yeah, I don't have a whole lot of tricks though with fighting hunger. I just tell myself, again, good, I'm glad you're hungry, go eat my fat. Or I go, oh, is this real hunger, or is this insulin driven hunger, or is this, and here's another thing I don't even think I finished talking about, that there's horrible advice out there to stop fasting during your period. And that's just like the dumbest thing I've ever heard, like I mentioned. But do we maybe get hungrier on your period or whatever? Well, let's just pause for a second. I haven't had a period in 14 years because I had an ablation done. And then 3 months ago, I had a hysterectomy. So I haven't had a period in forever. But before my hysterectomy, I still had what we would call a fake period because I just still would always feel the emotions and the blah, whatever. But I just like wouldn't, Okay, so I know that hormones get driven up. I know that we get extra hungry sometimes, or extra mad on our period, or extra aggravated, or whatever it is. The hormone-driven hunger, though, does not give you a hall pass to just go eat whatever the hell you want during Shark Week. So people that tell you to stop fasting during your period is horrible advice. Please do not listen to that. What you should do is listen to your body during that time. And if you're like, I'm freaking hungry, go eat a real grass-fed freaking hamburger with real cheddar cheese on it or whatever. And, have something really good if you're really hungry, but don't be like, oh my God, I'm really hungry and I'm so stressed out and I'm on my period and I want chocolate. Well, first question, is chocolate eating for your goal? No. So let's not go have chocolate. We don't get a hall pass on our period to go eat chocolate, guys. Sorry, especially if you're in weight loss mode. Like, those are the things that you are so different with fasting that I don't understand why people don't understand that. Just blows my mind. Like, you're supposed to be a doctor, but it just doesn't make sense to me, because you don't stop fasting because if you slept, you fasted. So we're never going to stop fasting unless you're just going to plan on being nocturnal. I don't freaking know. You're going to wake up though. And if you're extra hungry because it is Shark Week, then have some freaking eggs and sausage and some avocado toast. That's what you can have if you're extra hungry during Shark Week. Don't go eat Dairy Queen and everything else under the sun, because whatever, like, we can feel sorry for ourselves and we can freaking make excuses all damn day long. And again, like, this is all hard. Fasting's hard. Everything about trying to be healthy is freaking hard. But to me, this is the easiest way to stay healthy and be somewhat like in shape, or not, whatever you want to call it. I don't want to say in shape because I can't go run or do nothing like that. Anyways, we're not even talking about exercising right now. But, so any more questions? Let's see. The salt thing. Ask away though if you've got any more questions. If not, I'll probably do this again where I'm just going to do like a Q&A. Might stick something out there so more people know about it. When we're doing a Q&A, so you guys can just ask questions. But again, go check out my website. Those newsletters are coming. I'm going to be putting, work into them, to try to get more information out there. But again, fasting is just part of life. It's literally the way our bodies were designed to work. It has its own filtration system in it. But you just know you can never out fast a good diet. So don't be trying to over fast and under eat. Don't be trying to, over fast and then eat a bunch of crap. Like, you have to really think about it. Like, your body is working to get healthy. What do you want to put into the new cells that your body just regenerated for you? Do you want to pump crap food into those cells, or do you want to pump good food? So you're never going to get away from being able to not having a meal prep, or not having to do this, or not having to do that. Like, you still have to think whole foods. You still need to think high protein meals. We need to eat for our goal and do all those kinds of things. But as long as we're fasting, we can still live life and go out of town and have longer eating windows, or have cake on our birthday, or whatever it is. We can still have that freedom and flexibility because we are fasters and we're not chained to no diet. But you have to take all the good that you've learned from any diet you have been on your whole life, whether it be a keto or whatever. There's good in every diet. There's always something that's like really good in it. So it's like, take the good out of all that and then apply it to your fasting lifestyle, and eat for, like, if you are vegetarian, then like, you really need to make sure though that you're a good vegetarian and you're eating like beans and tofu and things that have really good, like, high protein, because you have to still be getting your protein somewhere. And that's really, really hard when you're a vegetarian, because then you're eating so much processed food, because you're eating like processed veggie burgers and things like that. So that's all really hard. But like, if you've done a keto diet before and you did really well on keto, but it was just hard to stick to, okay, well, guess what? Fast like a normal person, get to 18 plus hours fasted, depending on your goal, whatever. Eat high protein meals. So eat a steak, but guess what? Good news. You could have a little bit of mashed potatoes with that steak if you want, but you still need to eat the steak first. Like, the first thing you need to go for when your plate of food is something, your protein. Get that protein, eat it all gone. Like, if I have a steak of salmon, I'm going to eat that salmon all gone. Then I'm going to dip into the rice and the other things. So I get to still chew the rice, eat the rice, have the bread, do whatever, but you're full and getting more full on the actual things that matter, like the protein, which is what you need, especially if you're doing 1 meal a day. So you really need to make sure, you're getting your proteins up in there. And again, guys, 1 meal does not mean 1 plate of food, and it does not mean you got to eat in 1 hour. 1 meal a day can be a 5-hour eating window. But drink water in between all your stuff. So again, head to my website. Going to be getting these newsletters once a month and other information on there. So we'll be doing this again. I'll be doing these lives again where you guys can just ask questions, like I said. But yes. Oh, and you're welcome for all the recipes. I'll try to keep those coming. Oh, that's another big thing on my website. A lot of my recipes, especially the ones that are like the most popular, I put on my website, so they're very easy to find instead of having to scroll all the way through my Instagram. So that's another thing about my website is recipes are easy to find. So go check it out. Have a good day.